Good morning. Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to bring your baby home as a nurse and think that you have it all figured out, only to find out that the reality is very different than what you thought it would be? Well, my name is Dr. Viola Pierce, owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer, and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to equip healthcare professionals to be spiritually and physically fit and financially stable, able to lead with integrity, to decrease error at the bedside, and in leadership, to lead a full, empowered life. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals, to show up exceptional on a daily basis. You can follow us on Twitter at The Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nursing, and if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You can also visit our website at vpnursing.com. Now, before we get to our special guest, I want to send a shout out to my morning running crew. We have committed to the 75 hard day challenge, a little modified for us, but we will stick to it for the next 75 days. My coach, Tanisha O, influenced me to do it because consistency separates one-hit wonders from all-time greats. So get to committing to a healthy habit for the next 75 days. We have a special guest with us today, Miss Natalia Mackey. Natalia Mackey graduated from East Carolina University in 2009 with her bachelor's in science and nursing. She also has a certification in maternal newborn nursing, as well as being an international board certified lactation consultant. Natalia has worked in women's health as a mother baby nurse and a nursery nurse for the past 11 years, and as an IBCLC, which is the International Board Certified Lactation Consultant, for 4 years. She is passionate about women's health and its entirety, and loves being mom's breastfeeding cheerleader. I love it. I love it. So welcome. Thank you for coming on with us, my friend. So I was attracted to Natalia. I was always been attracted to Natalia because of her bubbly personality. She is just absolutely phenomenal. Now, I told her this. I said that when she comes into a room, she changes the temperature of the room instead of letting the room change the temperature of her. And so that is super, super important. So now tell us about your nursing path. Like, how and why did you become a nurse?
Okay, so it's really, really funny. So when I was little, I was obsessed with the movie Father of the Bride. Do you remember that movie?
I sure do.
Okay, the Steve Martin and Diane Keaton movie. So Father of the Bride Part 2, the mom and the daughter both got pregnant at the same time. And I remember like the rapport that the doctor made with the dad and was like, I'm going to get these babies out and everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she did it. Like she, both these babies are here, they're healthy. And everybody's like, I know it's very corny. But I was like, I want to do that. I want to be an OBGYN. I want to help bring babies and life into this world and help moms. But then I realized it was a lot of work to be an OBGYN. I was like, you got to go to school for a long time and practice insurance. So I was like, And then I figured out what nursing was. So I was like, oh, wow, let me look into this. And then with nursing, it's so diversified. You can do so many things with a nursing degree. And I was like, I could be a labor and delivery nurse. I could be a mother baby nurse. I could be a nursery nurse, NICU nurse, all this stuff. And I'm like, I want to be a nurse. So I went to ECU, the number one college of nursing in the whole wide world, in my opinion. My veins bleed purple and gold. So that was how I got into women's health. I knew from the start when I went to nursing school, I told all my instructors, give me all the med surge, all that crap, because once I get out, I'm going women's health and I'm not turning back.
Sweet. I love it. I love it. Because I'm an ER nurse. And so I'm very passionate about getting the women to you who are pregnant. Okay. We're very passionate about that. Okay. We're jack of all trades. Except, I mean, we try our best not to deliver any children. Okay. Now, I guess that answers the second question about mother baby. So what made you kind of choose that though? What made you choose mother baby? You just liked it so much? What was the deal?
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with babies and pregnant mommies, um, just helping, moms at their most important part of their life. I mean, when you have a baby, I mean, it's the most memorable part, and just being a part of that experience, teaching them how to take care of their baby. I mean, in my world, I don't know where else you want to work at.
Yes, in the emergency department, we don't know where else you would want to work. You don't want to work in the emergency department?
I love standing in the emergency department and watching what y'all do.
Gotcha. So now, when you first became a mother, tell me a little bit about how that felt.
Oh, God. So you always hear people say, oh, you never know until you're a mom. Oh, you just wait. And I'm like, they don't know what they're talking about. Like, I've got this. Like, I do this for a living. Well, I got a big reality check. It doesn't matter how many years of experience you have, how many titles you've had behind your name. When you become a mom, your world just flips upside down. It is a lot. It's a big change. And there really, truly is no preparation for that. It's just gathering up a good support team, getting your faith in check.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I peed on my little stick, and I was like, oh God, this is real. Ain't no turning back now. And I just was like, it's all in God's hand. And especially knowing what I know, like I know all the good that can happen, all the bad that can happen, just being stressed out about the possible having complications. I knew I had my own risk factors. But just really putting all my trust in God and said, hey, you got this. My plan is already laid out. I'm just here for the ride. My birth plan was allow me to walk out that hospital alive with a live baby.
Ah, that's hey.
Yeah. How that baby came out, what happened to me in the process, as long as we made it out alive.
Well, that's good. That's good. It is definitely very different than what I imagined. I remember when I first had when I first got pregnant, I was like, why am I nauseated all the time? What is this going on? I thought this was morning sickness. Why is this going on all day long? And then I was like, I can't keep this up. And I'm gonna tell you, my son better be glad that my daughter was cute at 2 years old, because he wouldn't be here. Now, what are some of the things that differed from what you imagined when you brought her home?
I would say sleep deprivation. And I tell my patients all the time, I feel personally like that is the biggest, the hardest part about being a new mom is like, you think sleep deprivation, like pulling all-nighters in college, studying for exam. Yeah, that ain't nothing. Especially when you're trying to breastfeed or even bottle feed, and that baby has to eat every, 3 hours, and you're having to constantly get up. And then once you're up, don't think if you go and take a shower or a little, go respond to some emails, some texts, or go cook something, because by the time you go to sit down, it's time to do this all over again. And it's just a vicious cycle, going. And so I think that was one of the hardest parts. I had a C-section, and I had an infection right after, so my recovery was a little bit rough. The hormones, the emotional roller coaster, waking up and okay, I'm not going to cry today. Oh, I'm crying. I don't want to cry. It's just so much. Postpartum depression is real. And real, very real. Trying trying to just keep it all together, you're constantly worried about, oh my gosh, is my baby okay? Like, is she breathing? Is she cold? Is she too hot? It's just,
And they can't tell you.
no,
They can't tell you.
I remember in the early days, I would call the pediatrician office. He's like, "Oh, is this Savannah's mom?" I'm like, "Yes." I think she's in respiratory distress. She's making a stridor noise. Can I come in for a visit? So,
Yeah, it is. It is definitely rough. I remember when my daughter was born, because I was breastfeeding back then, and it was very taboo at that time. It may still be taboo. I don't know,
oh
but
yeah,
it
yeah.
was taboo to breastfeed in public. And I remember going to Texas Steakhouse. I won't ever forget. And I got into the restaurant, and up until that moment, we had always went out to eat. A lot, okay? Because we were, decent. We thought that we had some money. We ain't had no money. But we we went out to eat all the time. So when we got into this restaurant, sat down, the waiter came over, and when he came over, he took our orders, and then it took forever. And like every minute, my anxiety was going up. My anxiety was going up. And then I was finally like, and I kept asking him about our food, kept asking him about our food. And then I was like, let me see your manager. he was like, what? He was like, okay. And so the manager came over, and I was like, you see, what's going to happen is that if y'all don't get me out of here, what's going to happen is she's going to wake up. If she wakes up, then I'm going to have to breastfeed her. I said, and so unless you want me to and my dad was there, I was like, I cannot breastfeed in front of my dad. In front of all these people. And so he ended up giving us our meal for free.
Oh.
And then I realized at that moment how crazy that was when he said to me, when my wife she went through the same thing after she had her baby. And I was like, yeah, Viola, that was a little bit over the top.
Yeah. Yeah, you start to lose it. I remember my husband kept coming up to me and saying, you're such a good mommy. Like, you're doing a good job. And I'm like, why are you telling me that? Am I that on the edge? And then you're right with the whole taboo thing, is definitely generational. Way back in the day, everybody breastfed. You had no choice to breastfeed. You had nothing else. And if you didn't produce enough, you knocked on the neighbor's door and said, hey, you got some breast milk? Can you breastfeed my baby? And then, then it kind of went away. And now I feel like we're really getting back in the swing where breastfeeding is coming back to the forefront. Unfortunately, in the African American community, there is a disparity there with women of color having the lowest initiation and duration rates with breastfeeding. That's something else I'm passionate about too. So for me, I know I didn't grow up seeing people breastfeed. I knew, hey, we have these boobies and that's what they were for, but I didn't see that. My parents weren't breastfed. So when I came home with Savannah and I was breastfeeding, I got some pushback from them. Like every time she would cry or shrill or something was wrong with her, they're like, oh, it's the breast milk. Like, do you know what I do for a living? Like, you know how great this is? So I'm over here trying to educate them, like the benefits of breastfeeding for not only her, but for me too. So definitely, as a new mom, and especially if you're trying to breastfeeding, and have those people there to support you, because that can take a toll on you and your emotions are already on a high, and that can lead to early discontinuation of your breastfeeding journey because you got people constantly down your throat telling you, oh, you shouldn't do that, or oh, that's disgusting, or oh, you're not going to pull your breast out in front of me. And then you just got parents that just want to help, especially grandparents, and they want to feed the baby. And if you breastfeed, they can't feed. So they're saying, well, give that baby bottle formula. So sorry, I went on a tangent there.
No, 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 no. That's good because it is true. It is real life. It is what you have to do, and you have to build that confidence up. And as a new mother, you have one. By the time I got to my second one, I was full comfortable with, the whole breastfeeding. And it was a little bit less taboo at that time. And so I remember here again, another restaurant, went into a restaurant, PF Chang's in Raleigh, and we got over there and I said, look, I want that corner back there. And they said to me, they said, well, there's a business meeting going on in that corner. Why do you want that corner? And I said, because if you put me in the middle of this restaurant, I said, I've got to breastfeed. If he wakes up, then I'm going to plop a booby out in this restaurant. So you can take your pick. So the manager came out and he was like, ma'am, if you need to breastfeed, you can have my office. I said, okay. Okay.
I like to get free food too.
No, I didn't get any free food that time.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a good point when you talk about your confidence. Because as a new mom, you don't know what's right and wrong. And all you know is I'm just trying to make the best decision for my baby. So you go get on Google. Dr. Google tells you one thing. Your mom is telling you something else. I done studied and been practicing this all my life. And then, my friends tell me this. And it's like, you just don't know what to do. And it's like, that just puts more pressure on you and twirls those hormones.
That's right. That's right. Now, what are some of the things, and I guess one of the things is about breastfeeding. What are some of the things that you wish that any loved one knew to support new mothers in their life that maybe couldn't, and they could not articulate at that time?
Just reach out. I know sometimes even like some of my friends who have new moms, I'd be like scared, like, oh, I don't want to wake her up, but call, text, offer to come over to just watch the baby for like, hey, I'm gonna come over and watch your baby for 3 hours while you just take a nap. I used to didn't understand why people would always bring other people food when they were like sick or like couldn't get out. I'm like, that's so weird. Like, you don't want to bring me food. I was like, you want to come on Tuesday? Bring me food. Oh my gosh, I love that. And now they got these calendars that you can do, and you can sign up for meals days. Like when somebody's coming home from the hospital, definitely bring them food.
True, that's true.
Encouragement, support them, let them know they're doing a great job because, you're just at the lowest of the low. I mean, you just birthed the baby, you feel bad, you're tired, your confidence level is probably down. So I just, just being supportive.
I think a couple of things, when it comes to postpartum depression. Postpartum depression was real for me also. But one of the things that I'm thankful for it because I'm grateful for the darkness. I'm grateful for the darkness because then I was able to see the light. Because before then, I couldn't understand depression as a general rule. And people coming to the emergency department depressed all the time. People, as a general rule, are depressed all the time. And again, previously in the African American community, it was not something that we kind of treated, right? We would just, we didn't. That was another thing that was taboo. And so understanding that is huge, huge, huge. And another thing is that when your family members come over, having them just take it over. You do what you do, make sure my baby's safe, but give me at least, 5 hours of uninterrupted sleep so that I can chill. Okay. Because I probably won't be sleeping tonight. Okay. Yeah. So now you decided that you wanted to be a lactation consultant. What was the reason that you made that decision?
So I started, learning more about breast milk, and I was like, wow, this is good stuff. All kind of benefits for the mom, the baby. It's free, natural.
That was my reasoning.
Yeah,
part of it.
Yeah, very free. And so I was like, wow. So as I started studying more about just lactation itself and breast milk, I just got really passionate about it. And then I realized, a lot of women struggle with breastfeeding. You would think it should be something so natural. Baby comes out, just latch right onto the breast. Yeah, it don't work like that. In some cases it does, but not the ones I work. So I was like, man, I want to be a lactation consultant. And then, again, the disparities amongst African American women, just not having the support, the resources, the knowledge, the lower initiation rates, not doing it as long. We can really benefit from those health benefits that breast milk provide for not only our babies, but for ourselves, to help with that depression, to help with obesity, and a lot of the comorbidities that we have that are attributed to like diet and, just stuff that breastfeeding in general can help us out with. So
Sweet, sweet, sweet. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, what is one thing that you wish that you would have known whenever you started your career as a nurse?
I wish I would have kind of diversified my knowledge, so to speak. So in women's health, in the women's center where I worked at, you had labor and delivery, you had a nursery or a NICU setting, and you had like a mother baby postpartum floor. Sometimes we get contemplated or you just comfortable in one area. And I wish when I was young and had all this energy and was a little sponge, I would have learned it all.
Gotcha.
And not just settled on one area of expertise. Now, granted, there are some people that they don't need to take care of adults. They just need to focus on the babies because that's their niche. They're passionate about it. Vice versa. Some people don't need to be taking care of babies. They need to just focus on the big people. But for somebody coming in, if they're going into like the emergency room, learn how to triage, learn how to do traumas, learn how to do pediatric ER, learn everything there is to learn about being an ER nurse and know how to do it all. Make yourself valuable and a great asset to your department. So I think coming in, I wish I would have did that.
Yeah, because I think it lets you know what you don't want to do, because and then that leads and guides you to where you need to be, right? And so I remember going to Kansas with Cerner, trying to learn Cerner because I thought I wanted to be an informatics nurse, right? And so we get to Kansas, and I'm like, no, that. They start talking about some code. I was like, no, we're not going to do that. That's not where I need to be at all. I said, let me go back and be an ER nurse. I'm good. I'm good with that. So now, what is one piece of advice that you would give a novice nurse that is starting out in OB?
Oh, I thought I just answered that.
Oh.
That's what I would tell her. Learn it all.
So that's the piece of advice that you would give.
Yeah.
You are so funny.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I will say, I would also, and I know you went back to school later on, but I think just personally for me, I wish I would have pushed myself and said, okay, what all do you want to do in life? Like, you want a master's degree, keep going. Because now that I done took this little hiatus, and I ain't been in school in 11 years, I get nauseous at the thought of writing a paper. Like, ugh. And now that I got this, this beautiful little baby involved, like,
she is beautiful. Oh my God.
People like work, go to school. Like, I don't know how they do it. Like, I'm on a struggle bus over here.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely not for the faint of hearts, for sure. It is one of those things that when I went back, my kids were older. They were not younger, because when my kids were younger, I couldn't even think about going back because I was so involved in, taking care of them and making sure, and not even being sure where they were going in life and wanting to support them. Right. But once they got, a little bit older and they could take care of themselves, because yours can't take care of herself at this current moment. Because when I was writing a paper on Wednesday night, my son would come in, and it was so funny. And I tell the story all the time. My son would come in and he would say, "Mama," and I was like, "I got a deadline. It is 12 o'clock tonight. Okay. I can't talk right now. Okay. Unless it's quick, I can answer this real quick. I just can't talk right now. I said, is it quick? He said, no. I said, I'll talk to you in the morning. I said, it's an emergency. He said, no. I said, ain't nobody dying. He said, no. I said, okay, we're good. Okay, I need for you to address this in the morning. I can't right now. But of course, you know, he was a lot older at that time. And so it made it a huge difference. But anyway, I love you. Thank you.
Are we done?
Yes, we're done.
We can keep talking about the struggles.
Well, go ahead. Tell me about the struggles.
Man, I told somebody, I was like, I don't know how, like, I felt like all my friends were liars once I had kids or once I had Savannah. So I was like, y'all made it look so easy. Like, how are y'all put together? Like, how do y'all just go shopping with your child? How do y'all going to the beaches? Like, how are y'all doing that? I went to the beach twice and I ain't never doing that again with her. Like, I'm going to have a U-Haul truck next time. All that crap I packed. I was like, never again.
Well, you know, I remember going into, I want to say it was Target and Tommy bedroom. It was so funny because I want to say it was Devin that I had at that time. And he was itty bitty. He was super small. And it started raining. It started pouring down. And I was like, how am I going to get this child to this car? And he said, he was so funny. He said, he is not going to melt. I said, but he may drown, doggone it. He may drown.
I don't know. I will leave one piece of advice. I will say, you know, before kids, you know, I always wanted that front parking spot in front of the store. Now I'm like, where's that cart return? I want to park beside because I can get out, put that baby right in the cart. When I go to my car, the cart turns right there. See, your life just changes when you have a child.
That's right. You think very differently, very differently. But thank you again for showing up and showing out. So my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I am the owner and CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitators of Secret Sufferers Worldwide with Dr. V. Our goal is to come to you to equip healthcare professionals to be spiritually and physically fit, financially stable, able to lead with integrity, to decrease error at the bedside and in leadership, and to lead a full empowered life. You can follow us on Twitter at the Nurse Nurturer, Instagram at VP Nursing, and if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You can also visit our website at vpnursing.com. You guys have a great day.
Bye.